It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood. Neighborly day for beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor?
What's up, everybody? Let's play a tune.
War on the earth was a slaughter. Only a praise, so the cannabis until we bliss. Take another hit and get a lift. The rumor of the earth smoke. On the cannabis until we bliss. The rumor of the earth smoke. Take another hit and get a lift. It's too on. And I don't wanna run. Just to know I get so high off the sound when it comes. Join to when I was young. Subconscious thoughts in the corner of my hand. Lift me up. Words of the action. You feel a remnant. See the DC drum. You lift me up. Words of the action. You feel a remnant. In the song. So one wickedness in our yellow places. Strong greed in the riches of the places they fall. You want to drag us along here and walk. He's in the depths of the sun. So one wickedness in our yellow places. Strong greed in the riches of the races they fall. Drag us along here and walk. Not fun. Only gonna listen to the lyrics. Take another hit and it's a lift. Aroma of the earth smoke. Only gonna listen to it bliss. Aroma of the earth smoke. Take another hit and it's a lift. Yeah. Why? To the electro. Just so we get down the side of the line and then off the run. And when they get blown, let's get rich science and conquer the land. Come from a corner, wheeling our guns and then head to head war. Against our kingdom, if it's like it is a fall, that's a look at the road. So we'll have let's be on the walls, we are better than our who's a salvation and get a heart rate. Some must to feel the sicker of this trend. Soon the power of the dance to retread. What to do with what the eyes reflect. Can't still away the holy lineage.
Anyway, what's up, everybody? This is Zeb from the band Tribal Seeds. Nice to see everybody. What's up? Let me say what's up to all the homies here already. How'd y'all like that intro, Mr. Rogers? What? Just came up with that. First of all, I want to say, hang on one second. I want to say big up respect, Rootfire, and Kevin Officer from Backstage Music Lessons and Stick Figure for bringing me on here today to come hang out with you guys and, you know, talk about music, talk about the band, talk about whatever y'all want, you know. I'm here in lovely Redondo Beach, California, in my sprawling 2-bedroom, 1-bath mansion. And, you know, we're still at the stay-at-home thing, but, you know, we've been going to the beach sometimes, you know. I hope you guys are doing okay. I know this is like a shitty-ass time for everybody. You know, I'm stoked to be able to have this platform that these guys put together, that, you know, we can hang out, talk, and, you know, play a little music, whatever. I can't really play too much here, but, you know, we'll do what we can. And just be able to, like, vibe with you guys because, obviously, you know, we all wish we were at Cali Roots this weekend. You know, we all thought we'd be there partying and having a great time. And, you know, I know it's hard this week, especially for everybody, because I know everybody was, you know, really hoping to go to that show for sure, just be there and vibing, and you know what I mean. So, you know, I'm glad to be able to hang out with you guys and talk about stuff, and I hope everybody's doing okay. You know, this is a really hard time for everybody, and you know, you be like on Facebook, I might joke around and you know, whatever, but this is a serious time. So, you know, we just hope that, you know, everybody stays safe and we can all get back on the road as soon as we can. You know, that's what we're looking forward to right now. So anyway, let me say what's up. Katie Robinson, Willie, Kev, Edgar, what's up? Good to see you guys, man. You know what I'm saying? Hope everybody tune in and have a good time. And, you know, if you guys got any questions that you guys want to ask about whatever, just feel free to jump in. You know, I'm going to kind of start out talking about a little bit about me. I grew up here in Los Angeles, pretty much all over. My dad lived in Venice for a long time. My mom lived in Van Nuys, so I was kind of back and forth and all of that. And the reggae scene in Los Angeles, and we're talking about, you know, like the late 80s, 90s, was just starting to get somewhere. Before that, there was really no reggae bands. There wasn't really a scene yet here in Los Angeles. And, you know, I grew up as like a skater, punk rock kid, you know what I'm saying? Anarchy and skating half pipes every day and, you know, skating the beach in Venice and all of that. And we were all like punk rock kids. And we started going dreads and stuff, and it was more based out of like the political and spiritual ideologies, I think, of the music of reggae more than it was yet the music that I fell in love with. So as a punk rock kid, we were into, you know, fight the system and, you know, disrespect authority and all of that kind of stuff. So, you know what I mean? Like the reggae scene to us, like reggae music from Jamaica at that time, was serious and very politically driven, very spiritually driven music. And we all kind of like, a lot of us punk rock kids kind of jumped on thrash punk, you know. And I heard reggae, my brother played it for me, and I was like, man, this is really slow, you know what I mean? Like I just couldn't get into it for a while. And then he took me to see a couple bands live, one of which was Black Uhuru in the 80s when it was Michael Rose and it was Puma Jones and like that incarnation of Black Uhuru with Sly and Robbie. I went to that show, and I went to Oswald, and I went to it was Jimmy Cliff and Steel Pulse when Steel Pulse was doing Earth Crisis. And so I went to those shows and I watched the band. I was like, man, I want to do that. Like that was the dopest shit I ever saw. And that kind of set me on the path towards playing reggae more than playing rock music. So I kind of like pursued that. We had a bunch of bands, the local bands in LA. And I remember this is the time there wasn't Cali reggae, there was no Cali roots, there was no scene really. There was a couple bands, one of which was Babylon Warriors. There's a band called Boom Shock out here in LA, Small Axe, and a few others peppered around. And there really wasn't any like, you know, reggae bands in LA. And so a lot of us started to, you know, start doing it. And then I had a band called United Nation. We started playing just local bars and stuff. At that time, it was still Jamaican reggae music. And we started playing local bars, did that for a long time. And I played like 5-6 nights a week in local bars for a long time. Ended up back in Ross Michael and the Sons of Negus. So Ross Michael is a Nyabingi. This is the time when I had dreadlocks and all of that. And Ross Michael was one of the elders, like founders of Nyabingi reggae music from Jamaica. And so he took me under his wing, took me on the road, big up iLocks if you're out there, and took me on the road, took me to Jamaica, took me to Europe and all that. And I went on tour, and I was about like 20 years old, and I was like, oh, I want to do this. I want to really learn this music and get better at it. So I did, and that's what I just kept. Oh, what's up, Lisa? And so I did that, and you know, at that time, people were like, you know, being a white kid, tattoos and everything from Venice and all that, like, really, like, you're gonna play reggae music and make a living at that, and that's gonna be your dream? Like at that time, it was like you couldn't see where the music was gonna be what it is now, this huge thing, this huge movement, this huge fan base. international touring bands from America. You know, it all kind of happened like gradually, organically, that it turned into that. When it first started out, it was really, really, really underground. You know what I mean? So we stuck with it. There's a few bands I want to shout out a couple of bands in Southern California that I feel were very instrumental in being some of the founders of like the Cali reggae sound. One of which is called Common Sense from San Diego. Big up my boys from Common Sense. They were actually, to me, they were like the first band that actually had that Cali roots reggae kind of sound from California. You know, cool ass reggae. You know, they're from the beach. You know what I mean? Like they actually were the first ones that like turned me on to that. And then I met Slightly Stupid. And those guys back then, Sublime, you know, I lived in Long Beach, and all those guys. And that time we were all kind of like playing in different like local bands. So we started Detour Posse, which is the band that I played with before Tribal Seeds and still do, you know, when I'm around. And we became backing band for like all the Jamaican artists. And this is how like my history with all these bands goes. Stupid Revolution, Tribal Seeds. I met all these bands when I was playing with guys like Gregory Isaacs and Barrington Levy and those guys, and I met them as our opening bands, and they all stuck with it, and look where it is now. You know what I'm saying? So nobody can come and say that any band really that's in this thing, even the newer bands like Ayaterra, just they didn't start and become big overnight. You know what I'm saying? Everybody put in their time, paid their dues. I remember Stupid was in a van for months and months at a time, and you know, all of a sudden, next show I was with Eka Mouse, and here come Kyle and them. They have tour bus, and I'm like, damn, they got a tour bus. Damn, we weren't even in a tour bus. We were in a van. You know what I mean? So, believe me, man, this whole thing has gone full circle to see. You know what I'm saying? It's awesome to be a part of it too. From that era, playing with Jamaican artists, to this era, playing in this scene now. Not only with Tribal Seeds, but being able to record for a lot of the artists in this scene. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk about that later. Hang on a second. What's up, Craig? I'll get to the questions in a couple minutes. Also, any donations are totally appreciated. There's a link in there. If you guys feel like giving something, cool. If not, no worries. I love y'all either way. Back to what I was saying. So I started Detour Posse. We became the backing band for all of the touring Jamaican artists at that time in America at first. And then we became international like that. But at first, we were the American band. We backed everybody from Sean Paul, Shaggy, Gregory Isaacs, Alton Ellis, and Mighty Diamonds, Barrington Levy, Red Rat, General Degree, like Matt Cobra. Like we did dancehall, we did old school, we did, you know. So we became pretty much like the backing band for all of these guys every time they had shows in America. And that's kind of like where I, you know, built up my chops, built up my skills as a drummer, and also as a you know, businessman, being able to market the band and get more work and all those things. You know what I'm saying? So I did that, and we did that for years, and you know, we've been really fortunate. We used to have shows. I don't know, a lot of you guys might remember, some of you might not. The Bob Marley Day, Ragamuffins festivals, Sierra Nevada World Music Festival, the original Reggae on the River, all that. So we were pretty much the house band. We would, you know, back up 6-7 artists each day for 3 days straight, you know, that kind of thing. And I think doing that, like, a lot of times people ask me, like, as a drummer, they're like, dude, you get tired, like, or, you know, oh, for instance, one tour I did with Tribal Seeds, I had to play with Arise Roots, so their drummer couldn't make it, and also I played with Ellie Mack, so I played with all 3 bands every night on tour. And people are like, dude, like, are you tired, bro? Like, you know, and I'm not really, you know what I mean? I mean, to be honest with you, sound check to me is worse than playing 4 hours. Like, I had to do 3 hours of sound checks. That was like too much, you know what I'm saying? But playing, no, because when you play a lot, you're playing constantly, consistently, you learn ways to find what's comfortable for you where you don't get tired, especially as a drummer. A lot of drummers will tell you this, you know, you find the way to hold your foot on the hi-hat a certain way. You find the way to hold the sticks a certain way where you're not what I'm saying? You find a way and keep it smooth. Always just, I used to have a drum teacher used to put his sticks on my thing here and just be like, nope, I just want you to do this. Almost like one of the little like, monkey toys or whatever. But it helped because you learn that everything is right here. Now, if you're playing speed metal or something and you're just constantly, you know what I'm saying, or even thrash punk and like obviously it's a different style. But if you're playing anything groove, the Anderson .Paak type shit, reggae, hip hop, R&B, well, R&B, but you know what I'm saying? Like if you keep everything here instead of here, you'll be able to do, 3 hours straight or, a 6-hour rehearsal and not be like, oh man, I'm exhausted, I'm beat, Let me see what's up here. Yeah, Brandon Clemente, what's up, brother? Will Dub. All right, let's see here. Craig said, you have a set warm-up routine of fundamentals or does it depend on your mindset of what you're about to play? So, dude, I'm lazy as fuck, dude. Like, I rarely warm up. Like, I'll just jump on stage. Like, me, like, I see guys at Backstage and, they're like, and I'm like, I don't know why, but I just never did that for some reason. I let the energy of the crowd gets me like, what I will do though is I'll stretch my arms, go back, do all those kind of stretches, things like that. As far as like actually doing rudiments and stuff before a show, once in a while I will do that if I'm feeling cold or like we've been, on the road for a long time, we're tired, things like that. I'll do some rudiments, some little double paradiddles and shit like that. But not a whole lot. So, you know what I mean? Hang on a second, my dog is barking. Hold on. Ah! Stop! Hey, I'm gonna let him in. Hold on. Hey, come in here. Come in here. Yeah. All right, I'm back. My dog's barking. Yeah, so Edgar, you guys know Detour Posse. That was kind of where I got a lot of my start in this business, and I'll finish that story in a minute. I just want to big up for a few people here. What do you got, Anthony? What's up, dog? Soundcheck sucks. TJF Medicine Drum. Yeah, soundcheck does suck. What you say? Sound guys fucking are stingy as fuck with the hats. We're lucky we have some great sound guys, man. We got some great sound men that big up to all our sound men, Mikey and Bridget and all you guys, man. You guys are great. So. What were some of the Glenn Holloway was a great trumpet player. Oh, Edgar, my dog is over here. I don't know if you can see him. There he is. Glenn Holloway is a great trumpet player, Jaw Connection horns, and he's asked, what were some of the most challenging sets I ever had to play? I'm going to go ahead and say any set where I didn't actually get to meet the artist. So that's happened like countless times where, they would be like, all right, you guys are going to back these 5 artists. The night before the show, they're going to be like, yo, we just added, so-and-so and so-and-so. Here's their music. And they're going to send you 15 songs each that you got to learn the night before the show without rehearsing with the band. And sometimes we had to do stuff like that. And I know Glenn has and a lot of other backing men have, you know what I'm saying? And you know what, though? It keeps your ass on your toes, bro. Like, it's like sink or swim time, Yeah, okay, you don't always get to rehearse everything. And this is what a lot of guys forget. Like, it's great to rehearse. It's great. But muscle memory and being able to memorize and remember stuff as well as make really good notes, I think are just as important for that. So like I end up making like detailed notes. I have an iPad now of everybody's set charted out, detailed out, just in case when I play with them again, I'm going to have their stuff and be able to recall it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you play with so many people, you're going to forget stuff. You know what I mean? But that's me. Some guys are really good at just memorizing. And then there's guys that need rehearsal or multiple rehearsals. You know what I'm saying? It all depends on your mindset, I think, and like also experience and doing it for a long time helps keep you going as far as that goes, you know what I mean? But I would say that, especially when there's a lot of arrangements, Glenn, you know what I mean? Anybody that's, okay, it's not just play the songs, it's like, here's all the hits, here's all the endings, you know? And you're like, oh, what the fuck? You know? So that kind of stuff, I think was, what's up? Okay, let's see. What's up? Corey from Fortunate Youth. You don't love, actually, you know what? Corey does love fucking sound checks. He really does love sound checks. Corey will be up there like checking every single instrument for like 3 hours, man. Corey's the best. By the way, big up Fortunate Youth. They have a new record live from California that's coming out this Friday. And even though I didn't make the cut on the record, it's a great record, and I think you guys should go definitely get it. So a funny thing, me and the guys from Fortunate Youth, a lot of the guys from Pepper and Pennywise and Tomorrow's Bad Seeds, we all live in the same neighborhood here in South Bay in LA, California. So it's funny, kind of, it's like a small, there's a whole lot of us in the same area that jam together and stuff. So you might see us in Hermosa, there's all of us jamming out on stage, you know? So Glenn, yeah, that's about 80 Jamaican artists, right? Let's see, what were some influential teachers, songs which helped me progress my playing? Okay, so me, as far as a drummer goes, I think originally my biggest influences was classic rock, always will be. John Bonham is still my idol. You know, Keith Moon is still my idol. I rate John Bonham as like the best drummer to me, like for that style of music. And also kind of, he kind of created hip hop. You know, they John Bonham drum samples, all the BC Boys and stuff, like he was like before his time playing rock music, but he was creating a whole new thing. So he was, and obviously Neil Peart, you know, rest in peace. When I first heard all these bands is what got me into music when I was a kid. My parents were super into classic rock. My brother was into classic rock. So I first started like bands when I was about 6, 7 years old, or maybe, yeah, around, I would say 8 years old. Me and my brother and some friends, we had like cover band. We play AC/DC and, you know, what we would play The Doors, Led Zeppelin, all of that, and we would play like at like school dance or like auditorium. And I just remember leaving school one day because I had a gig. I was like 12 or 9, 10 or something, and I had a gig at another school in their auditorium, and I left school at 10. I was like, yo, I got a gig, dude, I'm out. And my friends were like, what? A gig? What is that? You know? And from that day till this day, that's fucking same thing I've been doing. You know what I mean? Like, hasn't changed really. You know what I mean? Okay, so Rootfire's asking, who were some influential teachers for you, and what were some songs and albums which helped progress my playing? I'm gonna say that those guys for that. As far as reggae goes, obviously Sly Dunbar was huge influence for me. Drummy Zeb from Oswald, who, by the way, I didn't steal his name. We're from the same tribe of Zebulon, and I'll get into that later if you guys want. But he was a huge influence, as well as Santa Davis, who now plays with Ziggy, but back then he was with Peter Tosh. Carlton Barrett, obviously, Horsemouth. I don't know if you've seen Rockers, but Horsemouth was. And so all these guys for reggae, all these guys, I could listen to their records and know which guy was playing what song on drums. I'd be like, yo, that's Horsemouth, or that's Styles Scott from Roots Radics, or that was the amazing thing about reggae to me, reggae drummers especially, because I could, even though people say, oh, reggae all sounds the same. No, it doesn't. Like, you could do certain things on the hi-hat, you know what I mean? That once somebody hears it, even now there's some things that I do and guys will go, dude, I heard that right away. Like the new Arise Roots song, for instance. One of my homies, like, I knew right away from the intro roll or whatever it was that it was you playing. And that's always been my goal as a drummer, as a musician, that people can hear you, hear your style, and hear you. You know, Scott Woodruff is a good example of that. Steve I from Travel Seeds, my band, is a very good example of his songwriting. I can hear like the progression and know that that's Steve, you know? So it's like as a musician or as a songwriter, it's good to have a signature sound, I think. And even on the drums, even though you're not playing notes or, you know, it's not a specific distortion sound on the guitar or whatever, you can still develop your own style as far as how you play, what the sound of your drums are, the sound of your timbali, you know, all those things matter. Let me see, hold on. Yeah, Corey said it's the only time he gets to play drums at sound check. As far as albums and songs that help me progress my playing, um, anything live really helped me a lot. Live albums, that's why I'm stoked that Fortunate Youth just put out their live album. I'm hoping one day we can maybe do something similar. But I love live records because you get to hear the band. There's a point in Bob Marley live where he gets No Woman No Cry, and there's a feedback, super gnarly feedback on the mic on the record, and I love that. Like it was like reality, real. It was real. It was like, you know what I'm saying? But it's on the record. And even a lot of old Jamaican records, they have mistakes. There be guys like messing up, playing the wrong notes and shit. Like, you know what I mean? And you listen back like, but for them it had a vibe. And when you listen back, it had a vibe and a feel. And they're like, nah, man, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? And just go with it. You know what I mean? Like, so there's something to be said for that. I think that was the appeal of the old school reggae to me a lot too, was it wasn't overproduced. It was like kind of Beatles-ish, probably 4-track, you know, for a while 8-track, reel to reel, recorded super no budget style, you know, in somebody's little, you know, shack in Jamaica. But the sound that they got out of it was amazing. Like, you know, I mean, they didn't have any schools there for that back then. They didn't have, you know, MI. They didn't have anything, you know, Berkeley School of Music or engineering schools or anything like that. These guys made their own stuff, taught themselves how to do it, made their own drum set, made their own guitars sometimes, you know, keyboards, all that stuff, you know what I mean? And so, like, you know, it was like a big, what does that song say? It's a big sound from a liquor island, right? So I'm glad that it went worldwide, and now that we're all here, we're all doing it. And a lot of people, something I want to say real quick. A lot of people like to divide the Jamaican reggae versus the American, you know, Cali reggae thing. And I personally don't do that. I don't want that, do that. I don't think we should do that. You know what I'm saying? If you go to any parts of the world, their reggae is going to sound different. Lucky Dubé did not sound like Barrington Levy or Gregory Isaacs. You know what I'm saying? Alpha Blondie did not sound like, you know what I'm saying, Black Uhuru, for instance. So who's to say, if as long as you know where the music came from and you respect the creators of the music and the roots that it came from Jamaica, and always try and give that the first props, the first priority, that this music was definitely created and developed in Jamaica. As long as you have that passion and that belief, whatever you do to me is going to be authentic. You understand? Even if your song isn't just only about smoking weed or super happy or whatever, you know what I'm saying? There's room for all of that in this genre, you know what I mean? You know, I know there's a lot of purists out there that like to be like, you know, oh, it's not real reggae because it's not from Jamaica. Well, you know, go to Europe. There's a million artists in Europe that are murder that aren't Jamaican. So I don't really buy into that that whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Reggae music is definitely universal. It's been universal. And that was a big reason what Bob wanted to do, I think, with it. Why he went with Island Records and all that. Because he wanted his music to get out. I think he wanted to influence other people to do this music. You know what I mean? So what we got here, Medicine Drum, Bonzo is God. Yeah, for sure, dude. Unfortunately, like most of my idols growing up, like OD'd on drugs and alcohol and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So I don't, it sucks, you know? Neil Peart was like, and probably Steve Smith from Journey, like the good guys that actually didn't, you know, get caught up in that. But Keith Moon and John Bonham and all these, and Jimi Hendrix on the guitars, like my idols as far as music went. And y'all just messed up. Stuart Copeland, there's a good example. Yes, Stuart Copeland was a good bridge of the gap, I think, between reggae and rock and things like that. People don't consider the Police a reggae band, and they might not even consider themselves a reggae band, but they definitely had a lot of reggae influence. So for sure, Stuart Copeland would definitely be somebody to look up to, and I did. Nowadays, you know, like, man, it's like endless, the amount of talent out there. It's almost like skateboarding. It's like at one point it just went boom, and all of a sudden now there's 6-year-olds that are like murdering it. So anybody, that's why everybody says like, oh, haven't or not says, but if they have an ego about how good they are as a musician or whatever, it doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always like a 5-year-old girl in Japan that'll murder you on guitar. You know what I mean? So it's all about, to me, it's all about your attitude, your perseverance, as well as your skills. I don't know if you, I'm gonna recommend something. It's called Hired Gun. It's on Netflix, and it's kind of like what my life was about as a hired musician. Sort of, these guys went through a lot of the same shit, even though they were with Billy Joel or whoever they're with in this thing. But it's the same idea that, you know, I think it's Rob Zombie, I think, says, he goes, there's 3 things you gotta look for. You got, first of all, you gotta be able to play. Second of all, you gotta be cool. Third of all, can you get along with everybody else's attitudes, egos, bullshit, whatever, on the road in a tour bus for months and months at a time, and be family with these people? So that, those 3 things, the third one might be the most important. You might be the dopest dude in the world, but you get on the bus and you're an asshole, and everybody's like, dude, I can't stand this fool. So, you know, that's a real thing. And all my friends that toured will tell you, they might have had, you know, like a sound dude or a lighting dude or whatever, or even a band member that, you know, like, oh man, this dude's great, but God, I can't stand to be around this dude. You know what I mean? That's reality. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you get in a band, you got to always make sure you're always that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to be in this band, make sure that you make it a point to understand and respect everybody's stature, everybody's lane, everything, and try and be a team player as far as that goes. That's what I could say about that. If you want to donate, there's a link in the description. Much appreciated. If not, no worries. I'm here to hang out with you guys. Will Dub, thank you, bro. Love you, homie. Okay. So Kevin Officer from Stick Figures here. What's up, Kev? What are my thoughts on the future of reggae, specifically the American reggae rock scene? So right now, the future of music to me in general is like, it's like this twilight zone of like what's going to happen. So assuming that we all get back to, you know, some sort of normality, I'm hoping sooner than later, and be able to tour again and all those things. I think that this music right here, especially the American reggae scene, is going to just keep getting bigger. That's what I see. I see it every year. Like, the numbers go up in the amount of fans. The festivals are getting more well put together. There's a lot more people jumping on board as far as sponsorships and all of that. So I think, like, we continue to just keep putting out good music, even though we can't tour, and we keep this momentum going that the scene has. You know what I mean? I think if we let it slide away and everybody kind of sits back, waits for what's going to happen, I think at some point that might hurt us. So I'm hoping that everybody's recording music. I know we are, and still put out music during all this, so that when the time comes, all of a sudden we'll be back. You know what I mean? And I think this music is just going to be bigger. I'm sure whatever tours have been canceled so far, I know Stupid and Revolution and all that, and Stick Figure have already, like, you know, announced it. I'm sure, like, when they happen next year, it might even be bigger venues now. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's all hope for that. You know what I mean? That's all we can really hope for at this point. You know, to just move forward. You know what I mean? And Kevin knows it's been hard on all of us. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people think we all might have mansions and everything, but like I said, my sprawling 2-bedroom, one bath here is, you know. But I live by the beach, and I'm blessed, and I'm happy to be here. Let's see. Spirit, yes, sir. Brandon says, I remember chatting about that with you. Yeah, telling about getting along with people, right? It's a huge part of it. That's a huge part of it, bro, for real. I'm sorry, I gotta move this over. Hold on. Let's see. Aldo Lopez, what's up? Zeb the man, thanks for jamming in El Paso and grabbing the guys for us for a picture. Anytime, bro. You know, we appreciate y'all, man. You know, I'm sorry that we're all going through this right now. I wish it wasn't like this. I wish we were all just, you know, on our way to Cali Roots right now, bro. You know what I mean? Okay, Craig Wagner, when you go into the studio, do you practice the pieces, or do you have more of that live flowing feel you were talking about earlier? Okay, so recording. Hang on one second. All right, so recording, I don't try to overthink it. I'll go over it in my head, but I won't overplay it before I go in. That's why I'll do like 3 takes of every song. Usually, it'll be the second take that I keep. Sometimes the first one, usually never the third. It's usually the second take. So I'll go in, I'll do 2 takes of and I'll do different fills, different ideas. You know what I mean? I think Roots Party, I think all of those tracks that we end up keeping was all the second take. Because the first one's usually cool, but I'm cold. And then because I don't sit and overthink it, I just jump into the next one. And then, all right, I did something in that first one I didn't like. Let me do this. Or let me change the hi-hat pattern. You know what I'm saying? Like a song like Roots Party, for instance, a straight one drop, you know. Right? But on the second verse, I'll go like. Only for like the first part of the second verse. So it changes the vibe of that verse for a minute. And then, you know what I'm saying, go back to the other beat. So I like to do stuff like that, but I like sometimes to do it on the fly where I'll just try and go, oh shit, that sounded cool, man. Let me, you know, or, you know, maybe I'll even stop and go, all right, start back at the second verse and let me do that again. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, I don't remember who said it, but recording to me, and I've done a lot of recording, so, you know, you might have heard me on a lot of the new Arise Root stuff. Lions in the Jungle, that's me. Selecta, Nice and Slow, those are all me playing. Big up Arise Roots, by the way. Go get the new single, Lions in the Jungle. It's amazing. Josh Heinrichs, Innovision, Slightly Stupid. I played on Hold It Down on Meanwhile Back at the Lab. That's me on drums on that one. So I do a lot of recording, and I always go in and I always try and play for the song. There's somebody that said, always try and play for the song. Don't play for yourself. And I think that's a good advice to give any drummers or any musician as far as any kind of music you might do, is to always play for the song, not for you to show off. Now live, you might be able to show off at some times and do some kind of shit, right? But if you, in the studio, live and make it more dynamic, but studio is going to live forever. That song is going to live forever, and you want that to be, to me, as dope and meticulous as possible, you know? So I hope that answered the question. I don't really practice the pieces before I go on. We do sessions with a band, and I'll mess around at rehearsals or sound checks on the song, but when I actually go in the studio, I don't like go into it like all day the day before and like practice that. Oh, here's the feel I'm gonna do for the opening roll or whatever. I'll just that'll just come to me. You know what I mean? That's how I've always played. Okay, so Katie Robinson, what's up? Speaking of the future and touring, Cali Roots is scheduled for 5 months away, but there's lots of talk about it being canceled. I'm holding out hope, but do you foresee it being canceled? This is a tough one, Katie, because you know, my opinion doesn't really matter. From what I can see in the foreseeable future, I wouldn't count on any festivals happening this year, but that could all change. You know what I mean? Like something could happen and all of a sudden it could get really hot out and all of a sudden it changes the whole dynamic. So I think everybody's kind of waiting to see what happens here in the next month or two. Obviously the summer tours are coming up really soon. So, you know, it's not going to happen. Personally, I don't know. It's a, you know, it's a bad situation that we're in, especially here in California. They've said that they don't want to do festivals or, you know, big shows like that till next year. So kind of going by that, but fingers crossed, you know what I mean? I wish we were all going there this weekend. I really do. Sorry, guys. My favorite song to play and the hardest song to play from Colorful Crystal. My favorite song to play is Run the Show. No, I would say 144,000. I really love playing 144,000. I don't know if I have one favorite song. We did that on a couple tours. You know, it's like an older song. I don't know if a lot of guys know, but it's a straight one drop, and I love playing one drops. And I think one drops a little underrated in this scene. I'm trying to bring back a little more one drops here and there. So I like playing 144,000. I always like playing Empress because Steppers beats to me is just, you know. That 4 on the floor kick, I love love playing steppers. So anything steppers, I'm always trying to tell Steve, like, yo, can we do a steppers on that? And he's like, So I gotta fight sometimes to get it in there. Steve Donovan, what's up? That's our old tour manager, but still our longtime good friend and family with us. Hey, big guy, what's different about playing with Tribal Seeds over other bands you play with? I'll be honest, Donald, like, I love playing with Tribal Seeds for a lot of reasons, but a huge main reason to me is that I actually have never really been in a project where we were really doing our own music and writing together and coming up with the arrangements and touring and all of that. It's always been me as a backing drummer, backing, these are other artists. And it's really nice to actually finally be a band where, like, we are a band and it's not backing, we're not backing Steve, we're Tribal Seeds. We are one unit. So that's an amazing thing to me to be a part of. And also being a part of the songwriting process, the recording process. Most artists like Gregory Isaacs and those guys I played with, I never recorded one album. Even Barrington Levy, I played with 18 years. I didn't record one record with Barrington Levy. So, it's nice to actually play on the records with the band that I'm in. You know what I'm saying? And so, I foresee a lot of things happening for us in the future, especially with international. We started doing it right before this happened a lot. And I think that's going to be a big future for a lot of the bands, us for sure. That's our goal, is to do a lot more South America, Europe, and Asia and stuff like that. So, plus I get to hang out with you guys like you, Donald. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have Donovan around when I was with those guys. Shit. Aloha, bro. Can you tell me your favorite drum fills? It's going to be kind of hard what I got here. Let me see. Maybe later. But I'll tell you, I am doing... I want to big up Backstage Music Lessons again, Kevin Officer, for putting that together. I'm going to be doing private music lessons online. So if you go to backstagemusiclessons.com, you can sign up for online lessons, and I can get way more into detail about, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of like a hangout session right now. Maybe I'll play with some, but I'm going to try and get all these questions and everything. So, all right. So Fortunate Youth. Big up Fortunate Youth in the house. Don't forget, Live from California's coming up on Friday, coming out. Those are my boys. I love them. Remember that one time you filled in on drums for us at Sugarloaf Mountain Reggae Fest in May? Yes, I do. Actually remember that, Fortunate Youth. And I remember that Sagawa, your manager, spelled my name absolutely wrong. So flying was a nightmare. And then we had our flights all get canceled, and we were going to get stranded for like 4 days. And the rest is a blur. But we got back, you know what I'm saying? So now it's a running joke with me and Fortunate Youth. Like, if I do a show with them, I'm like, yo, you got my name spelled right, right? They know. So. All about that boof bop. I know, Corey. I know y'all love some. Well, no, actually, Corey loves everything. He'll throw steppers and boof bops and one drops, all over it. So he's outside of the box. Edgar Tavira, when did I hook up with Tribal? Like I said, I met Tribal Seeds when they were first starting out, and we were in Hawaii. I was with Barrington Levy and a couple other artists, and it was Revolution and Tribal Seeds opening. So I got to meet both bands back in like the early 2000s, and they were really young. I think Silos probably had just joined maybe, or been there for a while or whatever, but it was like back in the early days. And so I met them then and Revolution at the same time. And I'd always been a big fan of Tribal Seeds. And Silos is drumming too. Big up Silos. Me and him are still good friends. Always have been, always will be. So I always looked at Silos like, man, this dude's wicked. And the band always was dope, and Ian, all of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I liked it all. I liked the band, and I was a big fan. So it's kind of funny how it happened. I'll say this. This is like why I tell people, like, you don't know. You can't always do things thinking you're going to get rich or you're going to be some big thing or whatever. Sometimes you do stuff because of vibes, and those vibes will lead you to something great. Because I was going through a really bad, depressing time. All my gigs had dried up. Really backing artists wasn't happening. It was like just playing local gigs. I was super getting depressed and everything. And I ended up doing, I don't even know if they know that, but a Arise Roots had a couple of shows, one of which was with Tribal Seeds at the observatory. And I was like, yo, let me come on and jump on and play some percussion, because I wanted to talk to the band, hang out, you know what I'm saying, you know, network with everybody, whatever, and, you know, maybe even play percussion with the band, you know what I'm saying. At that point, I had no idea. So, you know, I was like, oh, yeah, let me come jam. So I get to go jam with my friends, the Rise Roots, and have a cool show, plus hang out with the guys from Tribal. And I think the night before was Hyrie. And so we did that, and we ended up hanging out, me and Louis and Gonzo and everybody. And, you know what I mean? Like, it was just crazy how it happened, because we just hung out, had a great time. Hadn't really all hung out like that ever before, all of us. And Silos ended up leaving literally like about a week or two after that. And so, you know, me being there doing this gig with the Rise Roots, just to hang out with everybody and network and hang out and play music. No money, nothing like that, just to play music. Ended up putting me in that position, because they're like, oh shit, we were just hanging out with Zeb the other night. I wonder if he's down. Silos like, oh shit, Zeb's down. Get Zeb, you know what I'm saying? And it all kind of went like that. And it kind of was just like one of those, like, I don't know, I would say it's spiritual. Like, maybe it was a spiritual thing. Maybe it was like one of those meant to happen karma things, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I was stoked, because they were my favorite band. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. I went on tour. The first tour was at Raging Fire and Natalie Rise. And I think, dude, I think we had like 2 rehearsals or something before we left. You know, it was a hard gig at first. We had a whole new crew, a lot of tech stuff going on, you know, didn't have in-ears. The first tour was a rough one to start out, especially not having our regular crew. So we got through that. And then by the next tour, we had the regular crew back, and everything was just locking from there. And then we did Roots Party, and, you know, it's all on from there. So, where was I at? So, that being said, yes, I'm stoked to be here, and I just love playing music, and I'm stoked to be in Tribal Seeds. And when we're not on the road, I still, you know, try and keep my chops up and record and jam with all kinds of other people, as well as I'm working on a little solo project right now, which you guys will hear about soon. Also, we will be putting out a single soon. Tribal Seeds will, that is. Fallen Kings. So keep your eyes out for it. We don't have a release date yet. Steve told me to tell you that time is irrelevant. So Empress is amazing. Definitely would love to learn it. Yeah, for sure. Empress, I love that song. Like I said, any kind of steppers, you know what I mean? To me is fun, especially live, you know what I'm saying? When it's just big in your ear, and you know what I mean? Steppers is my shit. I think this record that we're doing is, you guys are gonna dig. It's definitely it's gonna be a great record, because there's a lot of world music influence on this record. Native flutes and string, like live string quartets, and like there's a lot of instrumentation, I think, on this record that is very mature and very cool. And we have a lot of different sounds. We got a ska song on this record, we got a rock steady song on this record, and, you know, we got some quintessential Tribal Seeds tracks that you guys will love, and some cool features. And I think it's going to be an amazing record. You know, we just hope that we can tour again soon, and you know, get back out on the road, because that's really, you know, once we get it done, that's where our passion is always at. Let me see here. Don't tell Steve you guys aren't the backing band. Yeah, for sure. That's one of the most fun shows you've ever played. Dude, I'm going to be honest with you. Closer to the Sun was freaking amazing, man. Like, this last year, not only did I meet my girlfriend, who I love, through that show, but the time we had was amazing. Like, it was just awesome, man. It was super dope. Like, to be around that vibe in that arena spectrum where we were in Cancun, and just being around all my fellow musicians and friends and fans, and hanging out and partying with everybody. And then also to meet, you know, my amazing girlfriend. It was like, I'm going to have to put that up there, like, right now. That was definitely one of, if not the best show. Even though we only played once, it was amazing. Thank you. All has been great. Good to see myself. Hey, Janelle and Dave. Yeah. Let's see here. Corn, we do 4 hours from, yeah. There's so many stories I could tell. Oh my God. I actually was planning on telling a couple. I'll tell a couple funny ones before we go. Again, the donation. Thank you, everybody that's donated. I really appreciate it. Will Dub, I will not tell the story about the after party in Dallas with Ayaterra. No, sir, we're not going there. Yeah, Brendan, it's really amazing. Yo, Dan Zoransky, what's up, my brother? Much love, Dan. Love you, dude. Boxers or briefs, no homo. It's boxers all day, and I think it's a little homo, but nothing wrong with that. Let's see. For someone, so Greg Hannes here's Hannes says, for someone that is a beginner and maybe self-conscious to take a lesson from someone to look up to, what can one expect from the first lesson? Any recommendations to prepare? That's a great question, Greg. To be honest, dude, like don't even trip on it. All you really need for us to do the online lessons, normally when I do backstage music lessons, I'll give you sticks. We got like practice pads set up and all that. So obviously not going to have that at home. We can totally start. All you really need would be to get a pair of drumsticks, and if you can get a small practice pad, even just a small rubber practice pad on Amazon or something like that, that could work to start. We'll work on stick control rudiments, all that first, because obviously, yeah, I know everybody wants to learn a beat. You know, everybody. I can teach you the beat if you have the drums there. If you got a drum set set up, you can do little beats. But if not, I'm gonna teach you left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Whatever. Rudiments first. Learn the rudiments first and practice those, and that's like the best way. It's not like I'm gonna come in and be like, all right, here's how to play Aroma. Do it. You know what I mean? Like, so don't anybody get scared about if you want to take a drum lesson. Because it's not going to be any pressure. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have a fun time. It's always been fun. You can ask some of these guys on here. I've taken some lessons from me before. And from Kevin and from Gary Dredd. And now Kevin's got a whole slew of people doing lessons, man, which is amazing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really stoked that he's been able to keep this thing going. You know what I mean? And build it up. I told him when he first told me about it, I was kind of one of the first guys in there that he asked. And I was like, dude, this is a great idea, bro. This is gonna be a whole nother like career eventually for you. And I'm glad to see it's like building up. You know what I mean? So again, I want to thank Rootfire too for having me on, and anybody that's tuned in. I know it's early in the day. I don't know how many people work, but yeah. So as far as the future goes, we're gonna put out the single soon. So keep your eyes out for that. So funny stories. All right. So I don't even know if I even. All right. Okay. So I'll tell you one funny story. I don't know. There's look like there's a lot of kids here. So I'm on tour with Barrington Levy, and we're in Poland, and we're in the airport. And Barrington Levy's manager at the time was this big, humongous dude, looks like Rick Ross, like exactly like Rick Ross, 6'5", 400-pound, big ass dude, right? So me and him, and I'm a little guy, which is kind of funny. We look like Rob and Big or something, but his name is Biggs. So so we're in the airport. Me and him are looking around for food, and we walk by this little dude, right? Look like either a Polish guy or Italian guy. And I remember we're in the airport in Poland. It's like kind of sketchy. Everybody, the military's in there with SLRs, whatever. This guy, he's like my size, little dude, sees Biggs, right? And he has a briefcase on, and he just throws the briefcase down on the ground, turns to Biggs, and he goes, "You." And Biggs like, he's big. He's like, "Me?" He's like, "Yeah, you." He goes, "Suck on my balls. Suck on my balls," right? In the airport, okay? Mind you. Now I'm on tour Barrington Levy, right? So this dude just, for the next 8 minutes, he's telling this 800-pound dude to suck his balls in the airport, man. And Barrington came and saw him doing it, and he was like, "What is going on?" Finally, the security come and grabbed this dude out, and it was like, I wish at that time we had cell phones and shit, because it was the funniest shit I've seen, man. Trust me, like I wish I could get into to stories, man, like just crazy. Some are crazy, some are funny, some are, we go through so much stuff on the road that one day I think we write a book, maybe, you know what I'm saying, after 20 some odd years of doing this, man. I mean, just trying to remember stuff, I'd have to give it like, I don't know, like an author or something, work on that, Well, okay. Lisa says, yeah, take me back. Yeah, for real. Yeah, me and Liz were just talking about that. We wish. All right, Janelle's over there. Yeah. Cool, man. And so, you know, I don't know how many drummers are actually here, or whatever. But I'll just give you one last thing. So, just try not to like think too much about what you do. Like, for instance, I'll do a lot of stuff sometimes where I'll change the sticking. So I'll be doing like, say, Empress, like a steppers beat, which is this, right? Just that, and it might get to a dub part, right? And right, so you're changing the sticking from this to left. So you just get a different vibe. You can do it like you can take that around the drum set with it on a timbali, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Maybe do it for like 8 bars. So like think outside the box of, you don't always have to do drum rolls. You could just change the hi-hat pattern sometimes, or change the snare pattern, you know what I mean? To where you can make the song interesting without crashing the cymbals every 4 bars. The big thing about reggae is control and holding back, you know what I'm saying? And I know I used to have my cymbals real high, you know what I'm saying, like a lot of us did. Santa Davis, I used to watch him, and I think CeeLo's kind of watched the same guys I did, and we would put our cymbals really high because I always felt if my cymbals are higher, I'm going to hit it less. You know, over the years, I don't keep it this low now, but over the years, I changed it. Now they're, you know, they're like a moderate height because I don't want to jump out of my seat. Big up Tanner, by the way. To hit the cymbals. So, you know what I'm saying? Say that for them, the young guys. Write a book. Yeah, I mean, shit, I ain't got nothing but time now, huh? What's your favorite snare and which do you use live versus studio? So, right now, like, for Roots Party, I used most of the snare that I used on that was the one I used, the Thomas Starr Classic Bubinga snare, and I use that on the new record on a lot, but I also use the Black Beauty on the new record, and I use sometimes it's the Pro Chad Smith for the 1-drops if I want that tight, you know, that kind of like, you know, tighter sound for 1-drops. I use different snares for different things in the studio. Live, I'm always probably going to be, for a while, I've been using the Thomas Starr Classic Bubinga, which I think is a really versatile snare, 6.5 by 14. And it sounds great. Some of the rim shots on some of the other ones sound better. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, depending on the song. But for live, you can't really switch snares too much. And I hate having another snare over here. You know what I mean? See? It's just weird to me. Although a lot of drummers will do it. They'll have like a 1-drop snare over here. You know? And to me, it's just awkward to play like that, you know? But I think for the next tour, I got some rototoms, and I think I'm going to introduce the rototom. I remember like Pink Floyd and shit. Put some like reverb and some delays on the rototoms and do some crazy with like, you know, reverbs and stuff. I don't know. Hey, man, if everybody can use didgeridoos, I can use rototom. Anthony, someone asked earlier about needing a drum kit for a lesson with Backstage. I had a lesson with Kevin the other day, and you definitely do not need a kit to see value rudiments as fuck. Yes. Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm saying. You can totally start out like that. Shit. A lot of the teachers that I learned from, they'd be like, if you got a pillow at home, if you can get good playing rudiments on a pillow with no bounce, you'll be murder on a drum set. You know what I mean? I unfortunately live in an apartment right now, so my neighbor's kind of lame, and she'll call the cops on me, so I can't play too loud, unfortunately. So I haven't been playing too much. I have some congas set up. I'll play some congas, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. But yeah, for sure, Andy. You don't need a kit to take the drum lessons. We can hang out, we'll talk music. I'll show you the fundamentals, and we can start from there. And if you really like it and you want to keep continuing, then you can piece up your little drum set as you go along about what you need. You can start off with a kick, sticks and a pad, and then switch to kick and snare maybe, and a hat, and then maybe, you know, or whatever, you know, get a cheap drum set at first. And if you like it, buy a better one, you know. things like that. Zaransky, love you, bro. Appreciate you too, man. Yeah, book, I know. Yeah, here's Corey. My favorite kick drum is a 22 by 26. Yeah. So I went on tour with Fortunate Youth the other day, and drummers will laugh at this. I think it was bigger than that, bro. I swear to God, they gave me like a 30-inch kick drum. Like I usually use a 22 by 18, and it was like 22 by 28 or something, man. It was like Marilyn Manson's kick drum. And needless to say, I wasn't too stoked. But I'll tell you how you fix that is to just shove a whole bunch of blankets and shit in there. Like muffle the hell out of it. If your drums that you're using, especially I'm a king at backline crappy ass kits. I played a kit one time with a whole head disintegrated while I was playing and all that. So the backline crappy ass kits, I'm used to just muffle them. Like throw mad blankets in there, you know what I'm saying? Cut like tape, whatever. I asked Sly Dunbar one time how they got that dry snare all the time on Channel 1 songs for like Roots Radix and all that. And he said, Zebby, tape the shit out of the snare. And that's what I do. So now I'll even record sometimes with a t-shirt on the snare to get that sound. Go back and listen to some like Gregory Isaacs, Roots Radix stuff, and you'll hear that snare. And the way they did it was to just tape the hell out of it. And so I just use a t-shirt now. Kareem from Arise Roots, my brethren, what's up, buddy? You stopped by. Again, Lions in the Jungle is out now. I played on it. It's an amazing song. There's some badass artists, Rootfire and Pressure and Natalie Reiser on it. You guys should definitely check it out and go get it. Lions in the Jungle. As well as Fortunate's new album, Live from California. And our new single, Fallen Kings, which is coming out soon. Which current drummers in the scene impress you? Man, I think everybody's killing right now. Like, dude, honestly, like, I mean, Tanner's been murdering lately from Iatera. You know, obviously the staple guys, you know, Wes and Joe from Iration and all those guys are murder and always have been. Rymo always impresses the hell out of me. You know what I mean? I think the cool thing about the scene is that everybody's kind of got their own style, you know what I'm saying, and their own sound. Like I don't think any two guys are like. I think when Sublime, here's my thing. I think when Sublime was like in their heyday, every drummer was trying to be Bud. They were trying to sound like Sublime. And I mean, no offense to Sublime or any of the music. I'm glad that kind of changed, and now guys are kind of going back to, you know, the old school stuff and trying to learn from Roots Radix and Sly Dunbar. And I hear more of that in the music, you know what I'm saying? Like with a lot of the drummers, you know what I'm saying? I hear a lot more like people laying back, whereas before it was just like, how many times can I crash my cymbals in an 8-bar section? You know what I'm saying? So I'm really stoked to see that. Like, I think the whole scene, including Arise, including what you guys are doing. Like, I'm stoked that you guys got who you got. And I think all the bands are like starting to come into their own as far as their own sounds, and especially songwriting wise. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen the bands grow a lot. I've seen our band grow a whole lot. I've seen Arise Roots when they were just playing in the local bars here, and to go from that to the quality of the recordings with Louis Richards, and also the songwriting and the instrumentation has come a long way, as well as I feel like most of the bands have. It's cool because when I go back and listen to even our records from before, or even you know, what bands, I like to see the progression of the band. I think, you know, people like to see bands like come outside their box a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I know that's like a hard thing to do for a lot of bands, because fans sometimes like, oh, that record didn't sound like that other record. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think records shouldn't all necessarily sound the same. It's cool to have, like I say, I'll go back to this. Your signature sound, gotta be your signature sound. Always have your signature sound. But it's cool to step outside the box with different instruments, or even the chord progressions that you might choose to do and stuff like that. So I'm glad to see everybody like kind of like, you know, stepping up the production game too. Like, you know, the mixes and, you know, the way everything is sounding now is awesome. You know what I mean? And then, you know, there's a lot of bands that are up and coming. I really feel bad, not only for my band and all the other bands that have been out there for a long time, but a lot of the new bands that were starting to like get some momentum going, you know, and now this COVID thing has kind of like, you know, cock blocked that. And I feel bad, but I don't think it's over. Like, don't get frustrated or depressed. People are still out there. People are still wanting to see the bands play live, to hear new music. You know what I'm saying? Just try and stay out there and show people that, you know, yeah, we're not just chilling at home, you know, wondering when we're going to play again. You know, we're all still working on this stuff and writing and recording and hopefully putting out new music, you know. Any word on the new kid? No, I actually didn't sign with Pearl. I think I'm just going to go independent for a while. Obviously now, I mean, I don't even know we're going to tour again. So I'm going to stick with the Pearl kit I got for now and maybe figure that out next year. I don't think having an endorsement necessary, like the be all end all of everything, you know. I think you can find cool kits for a good price. Like, I think the kit I'm using, I bought from some kid that never used it on Craigslist for like, you know, $1,000 or something. You know what I mean? Totally worth it, you know. So again, thank you guys for donating. And I appreciate it. I really hope we get back on the road soon and see you guys on the road and hang out, and, you know, even to see my friends like Kareem and them. Like, I ain't seen nobody in like what, months already, you know, a few months, and it sucks, you know, just being around the homies, you know, is not being around the homies has been hard, you know what I'm saying? Like, not just playing music or whatever, or just, you know, we're so used to being on the road, you know, month after month, living with everybody, being around everybody. It's kind of like, whoa, dude, like some Twilight Zone now for us, you know what I'm saying? Now we're back. And yeah, I mean, like, obviously, here's my dog sleeping. He's always sleeping. He's pretty lazy. I don't know where the other one is. I think he's outside. We get to hang with our dogs and all of that. But, you know what I mean? Like, we need to get back to what we do best. And I think people need to hear music. You know, we just have to be careful about it and safe and wait and see what happens with all of this before obviously we can do any of that. So just want everybody to remember, the most important thing right now is just don't get it. That's it. Who have you played with that people would be surprised about? Crystal said. So, okay, I played with KRS-One, which was amazing. We had a band, KRS-One, Mad Lion, and Shinehead. And it was like metal, hip-hop, dancehall, and it was freaking amazing. Played with Foxy Brown. Played with Heavy D, was an interesting one. Paulina Rubio. I did a show with her and on the what do you call it? I think it was Telemundo or Univision, one of those. So I did a bunch of Latin pop artists. I did a song in the studio for Ricky Martin one time, which is pretty funny. I got to work with Diane Warren, who, I don't know if you know Diane Warren is. She's one of the most famous songwriters in the world. I mean, she wrote all that Aerosmith, Every Time I Close My Eyes, I Don't Want to Fall Asleep, all that. She wrote all these huge songs. So when I got to the studio, it's funny. I got to the studio to play percussion, and she just got like mad gold records and shit all over the walls, like thousands of them, it looked like, right? And and I had the biggest percussion rig set up and all these things, and she was like, "Whoa, what's that? And what's that?" She was kind of like, "Oh my god!" And at the end of the day, all I ended up doing was playing like a rain stick, like, and I got paid for that, so that was kind of cool. You never know. It's always good to be prepared, you know, especially in the studio. Bring more than you need, and you never know. All you might do is play some chimes, you know what I'm saying? And that'll be that, you know. Kareem, I love you, dude. I know you got stuff to do, man. Thanks for stopping by, dude. I hope I can see you guys soon, man. You know what I mean? I hope I can see everybody soon. What does it say? I used to have a Virgin 26-inch Ludwig. Ugh. With only 5 rototoms. Only 5. Nice sound, easy to move around. 26-inch Ludwig. That's just humongous, dog. I just can't do it, man. I mean, what kind of music were you playing, though? I guess if it's like some rock, like Zeppelin type stuff, it would work, you know? Yeah, big up Kevin once again, Stick Figure, the whole fam, Rootfire. I think it's my time, you guys. I want to appreciate and thank you guys so much for stopping by and hanging out. And if you guys want to sign up for the drum lessons, I know I didn't play much today. We talked, but I'm not, like I said, sign up. Let Kevin know. BackstageMusicLessons.com or BackstageMusicLessons@gmail. And let him know you want to set up drum lesson. And like I said, all you need is sticks. Even if you can just get a pair of sticks, we can do drum lesson. You know what I'm saying? So let me know. Aldo Lopez says, shout out Bernadette. What's up, Bernadette? All right, love you too. Crystal, thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate you all. I'm also working on, like I said, I'm working on a solo collab album because I do sing too. And I got some songs coming out that you guys are going to like. It's an all collaboration album with a bunch of like pretty big heavy hitters. So I think you guys are going to trip out on it. So keep your eye out for that. As well as I'm starting a sock company called Criminal. So keep your eye out for that because it's all about the high sock. High the sock, but down to the fool. Felicia, thank you. You're awesome. Awesome. You should get that package pretty soon too. Edgar, fun fact, connected with my future wife at Lighthouse with Detour Posse. Right on. You know what? A lot of people did, bro. That's crazy. We did a lot of like dudes come on stage and sing their proposal and stuff has even happened there, man. A lot of people have met. Yeah, yeah, man. So anyway, hey, thank you guys so much. Rootfire. Hold on. Got the Rootfire. Got the Rootfire. 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 Appreciate you guys. And Kevin, I appreciate you. And keep looking out for our single coming out. And we love you guys and stay safe. And wait, what does Kevin say? Thanks for letting me jump on drums. Hey, dude, anytime, my brother. I told you, move back to LA, dog. They might be opening up sooner than later, my bro. All right, you guys, stay safe. Everybody stay safe, man. Be healthy and love you guys. And we'll see you guys out the road soon, man. Peace. Oh, wait, I need my, hold on, I need my music to lead by. Let me get back to you real quick. Hold on. Wait, it's not working. Hold on. It messed up my whole thing. I had this all planned. Hold on. You're going to love it because some of y'all might have missed it. All right, here we go. My walk-off music.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Beautiful day for a neighbor.
Peace out. Later.
Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood. Neighborly day for beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor?
War on the earth was a slaughter.